Google Pixel 8a shown in this video was a hashtag gift from Google sent out by hashtag Team Pixel. The Apple iPhone 15 is Apple's latest base model iPhone, and the Google Pixel 8a is Google's latest mid-range smartphone, coming in at $499. And some people are not too happy about that price. They want it at $399, but let's go ahead and just see how it stacks up and performs next to the iPhone 15. Let's begin with the boot up in 3, 2, go, and see which one can get there first. Now, keep in mind, Google phones typically do boot up faster in my experience than most other smartphone brands. I don't know what it is, it just boots up very fast, especially once you already got it ready to go. And there you go, the Google Pixel 8a turns on faster than the iPhone 15. These phones really have different sacrifices that are kind of like the opposite of each other. I'll talk about that more in this video. So let's go ahead and take a look at the unlocking, and with Face ID, as always, very quick to unlock. However, the Google Pixel 8a does have two ways to unlock. You can go ahead and just use your face like that. And they actually use their algorithms to make sure it's your face. So it's slightly more secure than it used to be. Like I couldn't fool it with a picture quite as easily as you used to be able to on some older phones. So it's pretty good overall in the area of face unlocking, but I still would go with this method for a slightly more secure method. And for the ultimate security, you'll want to put in a passcode, obviously. But I would say in terms of speed, the Pixel 8a definitely boots up faster and unlocks faster. Now, this Pixel right here does have a smooth refresh rate of 120 Hz. However, this is not an LTPO display. It still has the smooth refresh, which means that generally just scrolling through the OS is smoother by far than the iPhone 15. But those bezels look like they're from the iPhone XR or from a phone from years ago. So Google sacrifices the bezels but gives you the 120 Hz. Apple sacrifices 120 Hz but gives you the thin bezels. So which one would you prefer? Personally, I don't really like 60 Hz, so I would probably prefer the Pixel's display in terms of that, but the bezels are quite nice. You can see the iPhone 15 definitely moves along just fine as well, although it definitely doesn't feel quite as snappy and as fast to move along as the Google Pixel 8a, at least in the general performance. Now we do have ourselves the iOS 17.5 right here, and you'll see that the iPhone 15 is clocked in at the A16 Bionic 3.46 gigahertz with 6 gigabytes of RAM. Now the Google Pixel 8a does have 8 gigs of RAM, and this phone also does have itself the Tensor G3, which is the same chip found in the Google Pixel 8 and the Google Pixel 8 Pro. So it does have a pretty good chip and pretty good RAM. All right guys, so everything is closed out for both phones. Let's go ahead and see which one can do this app speed faster. Let's go into Calendar. You can see the Pixel loaded Google Calendar first. I only did Google Calendar by comparison because Google doesn't have the Apple Calendar. And was that faster on the iPhone? Let me know down below. Let's go into Clock here. And you could see, I mean, these are not very different so far. We're just in basic apps. Let's go into Play Store, App Store. Play Store first on the right. By the way, you could see the Gemini being advertised. They do have that. I already have the Gemini app downloaded, so you will be getting a lot of AI features. But these phones right here definitely trade, that's faster on the Pixel 8a. They trade blows in a couple of areas in terms of sacrifices. So on the iPhone, you're sacrificing 60 Hertz, but on the right, you're sacrificing bezels. It has bigger bezels. But they both have one thing very much in common, and that is that the Pixel 8a does have Google's flagship chip, Sony Xperia 1 Mark 6. I think is that 6? Yeah, I think that's 6 in Roman numerals. Just got announced. But they both give you that same like lower price for and I'm saying lower, I'm not saying budget, I'm saying lower than the top level phones, with a Tensor G3 on the right and with the Apple's A16 Bionic. So pretty good values in terms of the performance. eBay is gonna go first on the left. That's the thing people are overlooking with the Pixel 8a. It has great performance for the money. And I understand $499 for some people is too high, but guess what? $499 is just right now. The $499 price tag, there's gonna be incentives, there's gonna be ways to get this cheaper, trade-in values. So not everybody is buying this darn thing at the full $499. I would wager most people aren't gonna buy this at a full $499. So that's just the initial starting price point. I think it will drop because unlike Apple, Google does throw deals year round on these products. So you're not gonna be left out with the same 500 all year long. So let's go into Groupon. And I think the Google Pixel 8a is more of a $449 phone, or maybe $399, probably closer to the iPhone SE's price point, but giving you pretty good specs. It's just those bezels, man. Google, if you're watching this video, please reduce the bezels. I'm not a fan. It feels like I'm using a phone from a few years ago with those bezels. Also, the one thing though that I will say, I understand a lot of us tech reviewers complain about bezels though. There is one pro to this, and that is that having bezels actually makes it easier to one-hand the phone, because the more thin the bezels, the more of a reach for your thumb. So the Google Pixel 8a is actually a pretty compact feel. In addition, it has a 29 aspect ratio, so it's not as wide of a display, which makes this phone actually easier to one-handed use than the iPhone 15. And the iPhone 15 pulling ahead a little bit in games. Oh, it looks like I gotta update that game. I swear, I'll be doing the updates and then I get into a speed test and it's not updated. But we'll just let that do its thing real quick. While it's doing that, let's just go on to Temple Run. We'll come back to Dead Trigger. And you'll see Temple Run. Yep, even with the app downloading in the background, the iPhone 15 does this faster. This is not surprising though. The Google Pixel 8 Pro versus the 15 models was slightly slower, but for general day-to-day tasks, it did fine. All right, so Dead Trigger is now downloaded on the iPhone 15. Let's go ahead and close it out here, and we'll go back and do that now and see what happens. So the Google Pixel, definitely a little slower there. So it looks like in general apps, now it was a little faster, weird. In general apps, it seems like the Pixel is gonna perform nearly the same, if not snappier animations on Android phones might give it a boost in a few areas. It's a good performer, it really is. I'm not gonna say it's the best performer, but it's a good performer. You're not gonna be super disappointed in that area. Starting PUBG is taking a while there for the Pixel 8a. Again, I said good, I didn't say the best. That's why we're waiting a little bit longer here on the Google Pixel 8a. And here we go. And I understand the 15 is not really in this league in terms of like the price. It's like a couple $100 more. But if you really think about it, this is the Tensor G3. So this kind of competes with the chip of like, when did the Tensor G3 came out? It came out like right around the iPhone 15 models actually. So let's go into speed test. The thing about Tensor though is that it's not all about just pure app speed. It's about how the chip works with AI. And there's so much more smarts in AI even on a Pixel 8a right now than a 15. It's kind of funny. But at the same time, the 15 is probably gonna get its AI stuff just here next month with iOS 18. So that won't be a conversation anymore in a few weeks. But overall, you've seen not bad. Pixel, the new kid on the block, not bad. Pretty solid performance, 120 Hertz display. Keeps up just fine with something like an iPhone 15 for much less. I'm curious to see how this is gonna perform next to my Galaxy A55. All right, so let's go ahead and do some RAM management now on this phone. We'll begin with the iPhone 15. And the thing I just always notice is like the 60 Hertz. I just can't not see it. I think it's me because I see a lot of smooth refresh rates and I've been seeing them for years. I've been seeing them since 90 Hertz and they went to 120 Hertz. So it's so easy for me to see this. I don't think everyone else tends to notice this once they get used to their phone. So I don't think it's a deal breaker for everyone. I just do think that personally, if you are used to seeing a 120 Hertz, it's hard to unsee it once you go back. But you see right here, other than me seeing the refresh being a little slower when popping back through the apps all were pretty decent locations. I think Free Fire was reloading. There was a reloader here or there, but nothing too serious. So these 8 gigs of RAM, is it 6, right? 6 gigs of RAM on the iPhone 15 was pretty solid. Let's see how the 8 gigs does here for the Pixel 8a. Looking pretty good. See, I can already see it even when coming free fire reloading here as well. I can already see it coming out. Animations look really nice on this Pixel phone. People say, well, why would I get that phone at that price? Here's the deal. Pixel has a lot of update support, so the software is very well updated very frequently, just like an iPhone, for example. And it has really good animations, Best Buy reloads. eBay, was that a reload on eBay? I know that's a reload on Instagram right there. And we'll go to Play Store, clock, calculator. I could still see the smoother look of the 120 Hertz right here. Overall, not too bad. I think they were pretty close in the RAM management with the Pixel 8a reloading a couple more apps. But most Android phones, I feel like just need 8 gigs of RAM to perform well in this area. All right, so in the Geekbench 6 test, the iPhone 15 is already done. You can see 2573, 6401 on the multi-core. I've been waiting already an extra 2 minutes and it's still going on the Pixel 8a. So take that for what it is. On the single core score here for the benchmark results, we usually average around 2559. So I got slightly better today than my usual. And then the multi-core score, 6401, and then I usually average around 6386, so a little bit better today on 17.5. Now, taking a look at the pixels, let's go ahead and take a look at the pixels versus today. We have ourselves a 1623, so that is not quite great compared to the 15, about 1,000 less, but almost double the score on the 15's multi-core. So definitely, Pixel's not going to be a benchmark king here on the 8a, but neither are the 8 and 8 Pro. So let's go ahead now and run 3D Mark here and see what we get for the 3D Mark Extreme. So we'll see if anything is different here within the actual gaming graphics. I'll be back when they are done. So right here, I can already see that the iPhone 15 is pulling near 20 FPS, whereas the Pixel was not pulling in that much, around 14.5. I was just about to say that, and then it pops up. Pixel did pull this score out first though. So let's see if, or finish the test first. So let's see if the iPhone 15 still beats it though. 2421, but a 14.5 FPS. So this is actually better than a lot of older phones, even though you might think, oh, it's a mid-ranger or budget phone. This is not bad actually. For the Google Pixel 8a. It's actually a pretty respectable performance. So I think you could do some good gaming here on the Pixel 8a, regardless of the fact that this is not the top level Pixel. You can see right here, 2909, the iPhone does win out with 3 FPS better. Literally just 3 FPS. I mean, gaming phones will destroy both of these, but both of them seem like they'll do games just fine for their respective platforms. I want to go ahead and take my heat gun now and see which one is hotter. So let me go ahead and point here. See if we can find the hottest area. And the iPhone's hottest was around 105 degrees right now, which is that's not cool to the touch, but that's not like burning your hand either, especially with the casings. Plastic does do a decent job at dissipating heat. We'll see right here. Pixel hovering right around that 102. So they're doing the same task, but the iPhone 15 got warmer. So for those of you saying, oh, there's heat issues on the Pixel 8a, go ahead and do the update. There was an update right out of the box for the Pixel, so go ahead and do that. Didn't seem to be an issue. Last thing I want to go ahead and do is open up the cameras here, see which one could do that faster. And for those of you asking what happened to your blue one, well, that one I pre-ordered, and I got my gift from Google, so I've decided I'm not going to keep the blue one, even though it might look a little bit better for some people. Let's go ahead and open up the cameras now. So I don't know where the heck the camera is here for the 15, but I need to get it back on the home screen. Let's go ahead and do the camera launch in 3, 2, go. That was a total fail on my part. 3, 2, go. And faster on the left. 3, 2, go. Faster on the left again. So iPhone 15 launches that first. But the Pixel can arguably take better photos in certain situations, but the 15 can also do better video, 4K 60 on the front and the rear. So pretty tight. These are pretty close phones, I think, offerings. They kind of are. The 15 probably closer to the regular Pixel 8 though in overall specs, but then that has some things over the 15. So the question is why does the Pixel 8a exist? It's for people who want a cheaper than Pixel 8 and 8 Pro Pixel. That's as simple as it is right there. It's the cheapest price, latest Pixel you can get. That's the bottom line. So thumbs up if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you haven't already, and let me know your thoughts on what do you want to see next go up against the Pixel 8a. I'll catch you on the next episode. Thank you very much for watching. Nick here. Be sure to be well, and peace.